30 minutes to share with you some of our thoughts and experience about what innovation should be from a CPU perspective. And I very much appreciate the PwC guy introduction, which is really good for me because I think we could understand from his speech that the CPU has a lot of challenges in the future, and that certainly innovation and to bring innovation in the really the heart of his business is key. So what we'll share with you this morning, of course, I will spend 5 minutes to tell you a little bit about SynerTrade. We'll try not to be too boring, but this is more the sales part of my introduction. And then I'll share with you a couple of examples of what innovation means for us. Some projects we've done with some of our big customers. And I'll also share some concrete examples through a video at the end of my presentation of two large customers of ours, which are Google, that we've been doing a lot of enhancement for, and a little illustration of what mobility will bring the procurement function in the future. So a few words about SynerTrade. SynerTrade is a software vendor that was founded in the late 90s. In 2005, there's been a merge between a French company and a German company. The French company was named SynerDeal, and the German company was named Trade2B. The merge gave SynerTrade, so we spent a lot of money to find a new name, as you can see. And we've been growing pretty steadily for the last 10 years with a very profitable business. We have more than 170,000 people using the system, whether it's buyers or suppliers connecting to the platform. And we have pretty loyal customers because they've put a lot of trust in us, and they follow our business for quite a bit. We also have a large recognition of our peers. Gartner and Capgemini Consulting is year after year ranking us pretty well in their quadrants. We have a very worldwide presence, a strong focus on Europe, where we make 80% of our revenue today. With 3 major locations, one in Paris, one in Munich, and one in Brașov in Romania, where the R&D team is. And we also have a support center in New York, in Sao Paulo, and in Shanghai, where we basically roll out the system for our very large customers. We have more than 200 customers in a various range of industries. We mostly focus on large companies, on the top 500 in the world. And they have all kinds of use of our system, whether it's purely e-sourcing or e-procurement or SRM or spend management. It goes from 5 users to above 1,000 users in the largest installation. I will not spend too much time on this slide because I will illustrate through a couple of examples later. What I will try to illustrate today are 2 examples. One of Metro Group. It's a very large retailer in the world. We've done a lot of development for him, and this is basically what's underlining our presentation today. When we say from the idea to the shelf, it's really about moving beyond e-sourcing only and being well ahead of the innovation process, where you have to start dealing with also your suppliers to create private label products. So it's really starting the process really ahead of e-sourcing, and then being able to close the loop with CFO and with finance when it comes to track the profitability of all your initiatives. I will come to this example later. We have, and we'll also illustrate the Google case, where Google has basically helped us to improve a lot the look and feel and the ergonomy and the usability of the product, because they are really keen on using products that look almost like their own product, you know. So I will illustrate that later. Not to mention too much about the suite. It's really a P2P suite like you're probably very familiar with. We can cover every aspect of your business process from a CPO standpoint. What I would like really to focus on is that, and it's really in the heart of our DNA, every single enhancement that we have in the projects is really done together with customers. We don't do specific development, but our customers, through the customer advisory board of SynerTrade, is very much involved in helping us to improve, because their idea is on their side, not really on our side, you know. So we obviously have people brainstorming every day on the new features, but the intelligence and the innovation really comes from our customer. So just to illustrate a few examples, we have a private label management module which has been co-developed with Metro, and this is the example that I will illustrate later. The Cockpit is really the Cockpit, so the single entry point of the software has been co-developed with Google. The supplier scorecard has been a tremendous development with Alstom. Alstom is really a very well-known manufacturer doing trains and all kind of railway systems. And their own DNA is about co-innovating with people. They don't really make trains anymore. They just subcontract a lot of their components to thousands and thousands of suppliers. And at the end, it's really about collaborating, and it's really about the open enterprise and the interconnected world. And they gather all the information that they get from their supplier into one single system that we've co-developed. Another example to illustrate on the contract management module is that Carrefour has more than 5,000 buyers connected to the platform, and they negotiate every single contract within the SynerTrade platform. As a consequence, we had to make a lot of enhancements for them. And it really brought our contract management module to the top of what you can find on the market today. And last but not least, we've been working very much with the IBM labs and with ClickView, one of our OEM partners, to put on the market the new spend analysis module of SynerTrade. And there's a lot of innovation in this product where we can basically work on billions and billions of row and data. Gathered from different ERPs, and which really helps procurement organization to at least understand how they spend their money. And believe me, there's a lot who have no clue about how they spend their money. So just a few examples. So what does that mean in terms of challenges for CPO? I'm afraid there might be a little bit of things you've already heard this morning, because we more or less share the same vision about where the procurement function should go in the future. But just to share a few of what we gathered through different discussions with our customer and through surveys that we make on a regular basis. So the first challenge really is for the CPO is really to be seen as a leader in the organization. He can really help the organization to transform itself and to move into a much more business partner role. It's not just about managing savings and cost cutting. So it's really to help the organization to manage the external resources that they're using. And in the future, by the way, we should not call that like the procurement function, like if I could make an example with the HR business 10 or 15 years ago, we were talking about, it was people doing payroll, and it was about managing the employees, and over time it became the human resources management, all right? So for us, the procurement function is not just about being the chief procurement officer, it's being the officer of the external resources management, kind of ERM type of role in the future. So there's a big challenge for the CPO from that standpoint. From a tool perspective as well, I mean, Europe is probably a little bit different in that sense compared to more Anglo-Saxon countries, but really IT and tools and software should be seen like really key for the procurement function to be successful in the future. Yeah, when you compare to other functions in the procurement function, the production function, the finance function, CPO is way behind in terms of being well equipped. As well, being able to track or to prove the performance, we know it's a big issue for CPOs. They say they manage 5% savings, 3% savings, but at the end in the P&L, there's no way they can find their little savings. And the CFO basically challenges him all the time. Where you say you're making savings, but where do I sit in my P&L? The head of the procurement center somewhere, or the guy who owns the P&L in the factory, he doesn't see the savings. So there's a big thinking that we're having with the customer today is what kind of KPIs can we define so that in the future the CPO can really show up and show these figures and these KPIs together with finance. And then, as I mentioned earlier, it's really about managing the alliances. We very much believe that in the future, procurement and large companies will manufacture less and less their own product, and they're very much go towards open innovation and co-innovation with the network. So it's about providing them tools in the future that will help to manage also external resources, and procurement function is very much very much qualified to hold this role in the future. Just a little bit of history. So what does that mean from a software perspective, basically? If some of you are familiar with the software industry, we've been going through major phases over the last 10, 15 years. In the late 90s, it was very much about best-of-breed solution, and you had a lot of software vendors that have been, by the way, since then acquired, like you probably know them, like VerticalNet, like Portum, like all kinds of very dedicated software has been acquired by Ariba or Bravo or this kind of vendors. Now we've been facing for the last couple of years some major merger as well, where IBM and SAP is now acquiring companies like Ariba and like MTORIS. And basically the end game is that for you as end users, you have to rethink completely and to engineer your mind in a way about how you should use this technology if you want to use your own best-of-breed solution for procurement function, which for us in the next 5 years should move forward and go in the following direction. It's not just about providing software for the procurement function. It's about thinking how the procurement function can start collaborating ahead of the curve with R&D, with people who manage innovation issues all the time, because when you have optimized your sourcing function, the only thing that you can optimize is to start working with your internal clients and also with your ecosystem way ahead of the curve. So it's about providing tools to R&D people, to your internal business people, to specify the need in the very beginning, and this is the case I will explain later. And it's also at the end of the loop, at the end of the process, being able to prove that you bring value to your company. And today there's a big gap between CPO and finance, and when you look at the large organization, the CFO doesn't really care about what procurement is doing. There are very rare examples where it works pretty well, but it's also because the CPO today have a hard time to prove its value in the organization. So it's what we call cross-functional purchasing. Today we're talking about e-purchasing tool, e-procurement tool, e-sourcing tool. For us, it's about really going towards cross-purchasing tools where the procurement function will be really central in the organization. At least this is what we wake up in the morning, this is what we fight for, and this is what we believe we can help the procurement function to move to. From an innovation roadmap standpoint, what does that mean for us is that it's a continuous innovation process that we have internally with our R&D team, and we try to focus on really short-term, of course, objectives, but also mid-term and long-term trajectory. So really, we've made with a lot of emphasis on the ergonomy. I mean, I know probably a dozen or 2 dozens of products and softwares available on the market, and what really makes me, I'm amazed to see that they're not so easy to use. So usability for tools is something that is very important. So you have very sophisticated tools, but when you need to click 15 times or 20 times to get to the information you need, it's not very helpful. So a lot of emphasis is doing there, and we have great customers that are helping us from that matter. Very much believe in mobility as well. I mean, it's not new. I mean, if you go to see SAP or Oracle, they talk about mobility for ages. But from a pure procurement function, we believe also that the buyers and the procurement people, they are going to move more and more. And when they go visit suppliers, when they are on the field, they need to be able to access their information through their whatever device they need. So today, of course, we're talking about like the iPads or kind of this product. So this is something I will show you later, how you can access SD6 information from your iPad. And all kinds of innovation short-term that I will obviously not detail too much this morning because I will run short of time. Midterm, there's one that I would like to highlight. The future of the procurement function, as I mentioned before, is very much about being able to collaborate with the ecosystem. So there's all kinds of suppliers that the procurement function have to manage today, and it's really about open innovation and cross-fertilization. And today it's important for the procurement to give access to its own data so that the supplier can know what we're talking about, but also for the procurement to know what the supplier is doing. And we're working very much about this kind of open network. And in the future, we believe that being able to provide tools to manage a community of buyers and suppliers is very important. Also being very open. Most of the procurement tools today are not very, have not been designed in the past to be able to communicate too much with the other systems. So we also believe that for our own ecosystem of our own partner providing the software, but as well for the customers, being able to have multiple APIs to access the system will obviously help to integrate this system in the IT landscape. And so on and so forth. And the last being, of course, verticalization. As the function and the procurement function is going to be mature, there will be some needs to be able to stick to some very industry-specific, such as the retailers, the manufacturers, the public sector. I mean, they have all kinds of requirements that in the future it will not be enough for them to use what we call standard software or packaged software. And this is also something we're investing very much into for the future. All right, so let's go to some concrete examples. As I said, I'll try to, I think it's better to use customer cases to basically illustrate the point. So Metro is a very large customer of ours that we are working with for 5 or 6 years already. They were using a proprietary platform. Maybe some of you know it was a Gentrix that was running with Antares technology. And they've basically had to rethink their way of working when they started to do this private label strategy, because in the future they were very much like traditional retailers, but they decided to rationalize their product portfolio and to concentrate on customer segments and then to adapt their own products to the customer segments they want to target. So these had major impacts on the way they used to buy, because the traditional retailer, what they basically do is that they negotiate with large brands like Unilever or Nestle or whatever, try to get the best out of these people and to make sure that the products are going to be available on time and on the right price in the shelves. Then their business has completely changed when they had to move ahead of this traditional business, because they now have to think about how to make products. So they basically become CPG companies. So what does that mean from a procurement function? This is what I will illustrate. And this had major impacts for the procurement function. But also then the price tracking at the point of sale also really changed, because they were not used to basically break down the price with so many components. So this had major impacts from a controlling standpoint as well. So just maybe for those who are not familiar with Metro, Metro is not sure it's very well developed here in the UK, but very large presence in Europe. It's 100 billion, almost 100 billion euro in revenue. They have multiple distribution formats, so from hypermarket to basically drugstores. And that is just a few figures. I mean, they're self-explanatory. As I mentioned before, I mean, they really had a very, I mean, retail is all about category management. I mean, you probably all know that. And they really changed over time, and this is a big trend we see in the retail business. They had all this kind of products, a category of products, and it was very, very, very much complex from a supply chain standpoint. And at the end, after they have completely re-engineered their product portfolio, they now have 6 brands. Each brand, and I'm not the Metro specialist, but each brand aims at targeting one specific customer segment. So you have the very low price entry point, and then you have the with the H brand, like targeting the A+ type of people with high incomes and who are trying to look for the best quality and no matter what the price is. So they have all kinds of different brands. Their process is the following one. So when we mention from the idea to the shelf, what does that mean? The idea is very much that today it's not about having category managers, they have brand managers. So it's much more a marketing mindset than a procurement mindset, which changes a lot, by the way. People evolve, by the way, and from a career perspective, career management perspective, a lot of procurement people have moved towards the marketing type of organization. So it's very much about having a brand new ideas. You know, what example could I pick? Where next Halloween is going to come up very soon. The guy has a brand new idea. He wants to do like chocolate pumpkin, And he basically just sent a brand new idea. So he sends all kind of requirements and basically tried to contact his own internal ecosystem saying, well, this is my new idea. Do you have specific requirements in your country? And everybody's going to come with his own ideas. Well, in my country, don't put peanut butter in the recipe because it's forbidden by law. Another country is going to say, well, don't use from a packaging standpoint the green color because in my country green means that you're going to die. Or he gathers all kind of requirements in the central system, and then once he's got his recipe or the specification of the final product, because they really think worldwide. I mean, this strategy is spread all over the world. Then they start they can start their worldwide sourcing, and in every country because they do a lot of things locally. It's not about making these chocolates in Germany and then distributing all over the world. So people are going to manage this centrally. So they do the worldwide sourcing. There's a big deal about managing the samples that they receive. So when the people are going to connect to the platform, try to answer the RFI or the specification, trying to be eligible for this for the tender, they send samples, and then all the people gather the samples and they make tries. This one I'm fine. This one I'm okay. You need to change this, you need to change that. And at the end, you have a very final specification that is available, and they basically, and they all collaborate. So the designers are collaborating, the packaging people are collaborating together, the suppliers are collaborating with the Metro people. So at the end, they have the final product, and they know exactly how it's going to look like. Then, once they award a mark, so either they go for one single supplier. Most of the time, they use a bunch of suppliers together, and they basically put all the products together and make the final product available. Then they can negotiate the pricing. After awarding a tender, they have all the information to negotiate the best pricing, and they will then go into contractual discussion. Big deal about supply chain and about the transportation cost. So again, as they have to put multiple products together, it's one thing to buy a can of peas and then to make sure the can of peas is available, but it's another deal about gathering all the results and all the products together. And then at the very end, it's about making the branding, the leaflets, the brochures, and it's very much about hard work design. And you would say, well, why is he talking about hard work design? Well, in the whole process that we've developed, we've moved way beyond procurement, because we also provide a tool to the marketing people and to to the designers, where they have to, in the process, validate the documents that are going to be distributed. And there's also a collaboration with the quality insurance people that are all over the process involved, and through workflows and approvals process in the tool. So from a tool perspective, when we first came in, they had basically their Agentrix platform was about managing ERFX, e-auction, and contract management, with some technologies to manage supplier data and do a bit of spend analysis. So when you need to go ahead of the process from the idea, what does that mean? Oh, there's a mistake on the animation. Anyway, all comes from. So it's about including demand specification and demand aggregation ahead of the curve, and I will say a few words later. And at the end of the process, it's about including the packaging and design, and also the production of the products, because from a liability standpoint, managing private labels also changes a lot of things for the retailers. So the entire process is managed through the SD6 platform. And now we have a dedicated module to manage private labels, and we have other customers that are now using it, like Carrefour all over the world, like some Tesco brands, by the way, and also other specialized formats in France. I'm moving forward, and what does that mean from a? So I think I have. Okay, so in the very beginning, they had before the system, they had 87 private label products. And after 2 years of usage, they have 60,000 products, of which more than 10,000 are managed centrally and distributed all over the world, and the others are managed locally. So you can see this. These are large numbers of also number of SKUs, new SKUs that they've developed into the system, and it's also pretty much well used all over the world, because today you have more than almost 4,000 people using the system. So it's been a major project for us. Okay, and now I'm going to show you two other examples through a little video of what also innovation means from a product standpoint, and you will have a better idea of what SynerTrade 6 looks like. So now I'm supposed to launch a video, and it works. So as I mentioned, we spent a lot of money and energy too with Google engineers to basically rethink the user cockpit, and I will show you some example of it right this minute when the movie starts. So here you're going to see an example of basically the previous cockpit was pretty much static, like client-server type of usage. And basically, we've decided to make a, all right, so I knew this animation would not work. Sorry for that. So the movie is going pretty fast, so I'm supposed to be able to put it on hold so I can speak, but I'll try to speak pretty fast then. It's really about focusing on the usability and having this kind of drag and drop approach and easy access to information. So here you see the cockpit. All kind of information can be made available for the end users. You can have access to documents, to user guides, to videos, to tutorials, and you can very easily access to it. You can access on the top to any kind of news, any kind of RSS type of links on your platform. You can also embed some spend management data that you can visualize through an interactive map where you can see all your spend data. You can move this information like a very easy drag and drop. You can expand the port list. You can hide this port list. It's very easy to use, so the end user can basically make it available the way he wants. Then you can also dedicate some space on the cockpit so that the user have access to information that he likes. So here, for instance, it's about accessing to performance management type of information. So all the reports that relates to the sourcing business. So you see all your information about your tenders, how many ongoing tenders, how many closed tenders, and so on. You can access the information through any kind of graphics that you can also, as you see, very easily adapt. So you can change pie charts to other type of charts, and then you can also customize the way the information is displayed. So you can add columns, remove columns, change the way the columns appears, and so on and so forth, and change the sorting on the information. So from a user experience standpoint, it's really easy. No, I'm talking faster than the movie. So it's just about how you can adapt the information. You can, of course, all the different tabs. You can move them. So at the end, you can really make this portal available. You can also, from a navigation standpoint, access to depending on your rights and depending on the modules you've acquired, you can access to all the information, and you can also go in a full screen mode, like you're having a management review, and you just use all your data with your colleagues. And then another example of innovation, it's about SD6 Mobile. So we've released a brand new application available through iPhone, Android OS, and any kind of iPads today. And it's really about, you download the application from the App Store, then you upload the data from the central database where you can gather all the information that you have your information locally on your iPad. And then you can receive all kinds of information like notifications. It can be of kind of reminders. So, for instance, contract expiration date, you need to call the guy to renegotiate or start discussing the renewal of the contract. You can access to all kinds of dashboards, which will help you to access information about your suppliers, about your contracts, about your tenders. You can see your information about the database quality. You can have the top five suppliers here with either a chart or a table. You can also have information about the top 5 RFX that you have, so Dell and how many they've bid and so on. And then you can also access information about your different status of your database, about what suppliers are qualified or some people who have just submitted new documents. You can also access information about your SRM, so you can search any kind of information into your local database. You can search on the entire database to access all the list of suppliers. You can search by country. You can search by material group. You can search by business unit. So you have any kind of possibilities to access the data into your system. And of course, you have a way to look up and to type the first letters. And like here, for instance, you access Dell, so you have all the information. You have the detailed information, and it's completely interactive. So you click on a link, then you can call the guy. You have the contact details. You have all the data about what kind of involvement this supplier has with your company, and you can also access all the tenders that you have currently with the suppliers. How many tenders is won? How many tenders is lost? What is the price of the last contract they have signed with you? If you do supplier evaluation, sorry, that's in French, you can access all the evaluation you've done on the suppliers. You can gather the different notations that he's had. You can see the web spider web type of chart and so on. So all kinds of information are made available, and I have to say that we've recently deployed and rolled out this system for Sanofi all over the world, and you have 1,500 buyers that are on the field most of the time and using the system, and they're very happy about it. And we're working on a new release because today it's really about displaying information. It's not about entering data, but this is the next move that we're working on. Here it is. I'm right on time. These were a few examples that I wanted to share with you. If you have any question, I'll be happy to answer them. And otherwise, we can certainly have a coffee together or discuss further. Thank you very much.